Welcome back in to 100.7 The Score on a Wednesday night. We're talking football. We talked football and cross country in the first segment. We're going to focus on football in this one. Although Sean Allen can come in soon and he can talk a little bit about his cross country team because they're off to a good start. But we're going to focus on Friendship Tiger football, which Juan Rodriguez just talked about how he has a really good 1-3 team. And I told Jay Northcutt the other day he's got a really good 1-3 team. Sometimes those numbers lie a little bit. We've got offensive coordinator, offensive line coach. What other hats do you wear?
In the fall, that's pretty much it right now.
Head track coach.
Former head track coach.
So
yes, sir. I gave that up when I took over the OC.
Okay. Chris Fanelli, Quaid Ferris in the middle, and Mark Nusz next to him. Guys, introduce yourselves by voice so people on radio can hear.
Yeah, Mark Nusz.
Hey, I'm Quaid Ferris.
Yeah, you guys sound a little bit alike, so we may have to figure out. We'll make sure we're talking about offense or defense when we get going. Which last week it was 57-56, but talked to Jay Northcutt, talked to Chip Darden. Offense stole the spotlight, but there was some defense in that game too. 7 turnovers, some defensive stops. You've been through a few of these, Chris.
Yes, definitely.
When you and Lubbock-Cooper get together, do they ever get old, or do you?
It never gets old because you always know it's going to be that type of game. Their kids totally get up for this game. Our guys get up for this game, and no matter it seems like no matter what kind of team each school has, it's going to end up like this. A few years ago we were 4 overtimes.
Yep.
In the last 3 years, last year I think we got them by 12 or 11 points, but before that +1, +3. In overtime games, they're just so exciting to be a part of. Very fortunate to be a part of those.
So you're the offensive coordinator. Quaid, grab the microphone. This is for both of you guys. I'm going to guess that really high on the game plan every week right now is get the ball to number 7, Chase Campbell, because good things happen when you put the ball in that young man's hands.
Absolutely. Get the ball in his hands is as many ways as we can. You've seen our little 7 package that we have where Chase is in the backfield, and I think the key has been also moving him around in different spots, whether it be we motion him, line him up in different spots, and move him to other spots, but that allows you to be as creative as you want to be and allow you to open up the offense.
Quaid, when we talked this summer, when you got here and you got used to guys around you, that's like Christmas morning when you get here and see that you've got that guy. You've got other tools too, and we'll talk about some of that, but the other night, first of all, Chase stole your thunder a little bit. He threw the first touchdown pass, and then you started getting into it. You threw 5, 300, 340, 350. The chemistry between you two in particular, how much has that helped you quickly evolve?
Ever since I've got here, just been going up there with him and the throwing, but just like seeing it like live in the first game when he had that one-handed catch, and then ever since then, I know I got him out there, and he always comes up to me before each drive, and he's like, I got your back, Quaid, and I just know that when he's out there, he's going to do good things, and he obviously had 6 touchdowns, so he's doing a really good job of getting in the end zone.
Almost had 7 or 8. The punt return got called back, and he was about that close away on the kickoff return from taking it back. Chris, you've coached for a long time. Have you ever coached a game where a kid had passing, receiving, rushing, and almost a punt return?
No, that would have been the first one. That was just a testament to how rare that would have been.
Yes, and you guys have had some
really
dudes.
Close. Yes,
and I'll go, and Leighton Stone, if you're listening, I loved watching you. You were an incredible player, but I don't know in my 7 years of having my website that there's been a better or more athletic offensive player than Chase Campbell.
Right. Correct. He's and just to add to that, we talk about his athleticism and where we can put him. His leadership outside, during practice throughout the week is a true testament to what kind of kid he is as well. And, these guys will talk about it too, but his leadership has proven very, very valuable to some younger guys that we have on our team this year.
Yeah, because he was the younger guy and learned from Leighton, learned from Tate, Beals, learned from guys. So, Mark, grab the microphone because, as I mentioned, defense kind of got overlooked the other night because there's 73 points going every direction. What did you when you looked at video, what did you like about what you guys did defensively at times to take the ball away and make them, kind of made them play left-handed? You made them have to be a little bit different than they normally are.
We, as a defensive line unit, we completely stopped the run that night. And as a secondary unit, they had a blanket on the field. They weren't letting these cheap passes come down. Every now and then, yeah, that's what got us. But other than that, we did pretty good, I'd say.
You had to beat you. Lubbock-Cooper's quarterback Ryan Rodriguez had to play the game of his life, and he's really good. But I've seen the kid for 3 years. He was. Both quarterbacks were. First of all, I mentioned this in my story. How you guys kept getting up because you took some hits, both of you, but just the quarterback's leadership and toughness, that was a big part of that game, and the defenses had a part to do with it because you made the quarterbacks work.
Yes, sir. He was moving a lot. We were getting pressure in the pocket for him, but he did. I had to give credit where credit's due. He was doing amazing scrambling out. Kind of reminded me of Holden Phillips from last year.
Yep, that's a good comparison.
Yes.
And they're both baseball players, so there's some. They kind of bring that mentality. Quaid, I want to ask you again. I asked you, or I mentioned getting hit. I'm sure you got hit a little bit at Bushland last year, but talking to some of the Memorial guys here who just played a varsity opponent for the first time, and I think probably saw some bigger guys and took some harder hits. And now I would guess first game you got hit a little bit too, but how much of an adjustment has that been for you to see 5A, 6A bodies flying at you full speed like that?
It's definitely different, but that's the game of football, is getting hit, so you just got to get back up because it's part of the game, and that's the defense's job, is just to get after the quarterback. But growing up, I wrestled a little bit, so I think that helps with getting hit and getting thrown around.
Coach Wanrod was just talking about that, how football coaches usually love guys to wrestle because it generates a little bit more toughness. I mentioned your first game was against Byron Nelson. You had some struggles a little bit, but now you look at the city stats on HubCityPreps.com, and all of a sudden there's Quaid Ferris leading the city in passing, over 300 yards a game. Actually, the kid right below you's new in town, too. It's kind of a cool little thing. So come up on the first break. We're going to talk more Tiger football in the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score right after this.
Bringing you the latest news from Friendship Athletics. This is the Tiger Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the Tiger Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. I want to sneak back over here and go back through the schedule for this week. I'll start with these guys because I know who and where they play. They play at home at Tiger Stadium against Midland Christian. We're going to talk a little bit about this year's game, but also flashback to last year against Midland Christian. I bet Chris remembers that game a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 7 p.m. Friday, Tiger Stadium. That is on Double T 97.3 FM. We'll go through Thursday's schedule real quick. In District 2 5A Division I season gets started. Monterey goes up to Amarillo High, 7 p.m. at Dick Bivens Stadium. That is on 93.7 The Eagle. Estacado's at home at Lowry Field against Randall. It's non-district. That's down the radio dial a little bit. TAP 6-man Kingdom Preps at home against Amarillo Boys Ranch. Chris, how long have you been in Lubbock?
This is my 18th year at Friendship.
Okay, so the Amarillo Boys Ranch coach is Lewis Kelly III. So there's a Lubbock high school royalty name.
Yes,
right
for
there.
sure.
Friday night, Tascosa is at Coronado. That's also District 2 5A Division I. At 7 p.m. at Lowry Field, 96.9 The Bull. Lubbock-Cooper is at Plainview. That's their district opener, District 2 5A Division II. That's right here on 100.7 The Score. Midland Christian at Friendship, as I mentioned. Liberty hits the road for the first time. They go to Fort Stockton for a 7 p.m. kickoff. That is on 93.1 Young Country. Lubbock Christian is at New Deal. That's maybe their next to last non-district game. Trinity Christian's at home against Stratford, 7 p.m. at Warwick Memorial Stadium. Leveland is down at San Angelo Lakeview, 7 p.m. kickoff, and Christ the King and other TAPS 6-man games at Lasbuddy at 7:30 p.m. So Mark, you were on the field too against Midland Christian last year. You guys played them, wound up a 35-34 game, which very familiar to last week, came down to a 2-point conversion. They didn't get it, so you guys got the win there. That game tested you guys defensively because of how they played. They slowed it down, made you guys keep tackling them. What did you learn from that game that helped you the rest of last season?
Definitely, for me personally, me being undersized, definitely being able to take on those big bodies and
A little closer, actually.
them coming at me, double teaming me and whatnot, and us as a unit being able to fit correctly and not be selfish and go out of our gap to try and make the tackle even though we straight out miss it.
Because Chris, it's not it's not a triple option or a flex bone. It was just methodical.
Right. That was with the loaded backfield and the shifts, it was something that we hadn't seen preparing for them that week. Something that they had, and like you said, that the game plan was very good. To keep the ball out of our hands. We only had 5 possessions the whole game. 35
plays total, I think.
Yeah. Well, 5 possessions, 35 points. We scored on every possession, but they had a great game plan coming in. This year, it's a whole new staff.
Yep.
And so, watching film, and they have, I want to say it was 6 returners on offense and 7 on defense from last year. But there's a lot of kids that remember that game over there, and I'm sure they'll show up at Tiger Stadium ready to go Friday night.
I talked to Isaiah Gilliam the other day. He, friendship kid, went to Lubbock Christian for a few years. It's a big deal for those TAP schools to play a big program,
yes,
because they're going to come in with that chip on their shoulder.
Right.
And Midland Christian's a little bit different because Clinton Hartman would probably kick me if he heard me say this. They get some kids that come from across town in Midland.
Exactly.
And
yes,
like you said, Mark, they have some pretty beefy guys.
Right.
So Quaid, it sounds like their game plan is different, but something that you're going to encounter here before too long when you guys get into district, you play Midland High and Permian, is they're going to try to do that same exact thing. They're going to run option offense and try to keep you guys offense over there cooling your heels. I don't know if you ever encountered that at Bushland, but to me, you have to stay patient as an offense over there waiting for your chance. Or you we're talking about Midland Christian right now, but if that's part of the game plan, how do you as the quarterback make sure your guys stay locked in and go out there ready? Say, like Coach said, 5 possessions, scored on all of them, and that was it.
Just being consistent when we have the ball and everybody doing their job, and then just getting down the field, not relying on big plays, but then when we have the opportunity for the big plays, we need to cash in on those for sure.
I remember Jay telling me last year that Leighton in particular was like a caged cat over on the sideline. He wanted to get back out there and make big plays because that's what you guys were built on. To me, this is a pretty key game for you guys, Chris, because last non-district game you get the bye week and then jump into 2-6A where you better have everything ready to go by the time you get into those 5 games.
Yes, for sure. It's the last, I guess you could say, tune-up game before district. It'll be a good test. I think it'll set up just right. This week going into the open week, we've learned a lot of things about our team, what we do well, what we don't do well. So, and we have a great game plan. We always have a great game plan with our preparation with these guys. And like Quaid said, it comes down to the consistent execution each week, and getting as much as we can out of each possession. I think we've missed opportunities, the first 4 games to put points on the board for whatever reason, whether it be penalties, turnovers. The last chance here to I guess eliminate those things before district and before they really start to count.
We'll talk more about the Tigers when we come back after this break on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Friendship Athletics. This is the Tiger Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. We've got one more segment of the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. We're talking about Midland Christian. That is going to be a test, and this is in no way to look past that game. It is an important game. It's the last district game, but then these guys get into District 2 6A, and Chris and Mark know when I say that carries some weight. Quaid, I want you to talk about this, Quaid, because this is Bushland. What district was Bushland in, or is Bushland in?
We're in district with Shallwater 3A. Okay. I don't know which one it was.
So you're playing good teams.
Yeah.
And probably got tested a few weeks out of those. Have these guys told you what District 2-6A is going to be like for those 5 weeks?
I was talking to Chase a little bit about it the other day, how it's just a consistent battle every week. And then we've watched film from, me and Coach Northcutt have watched film from Hudson's senior year and Holden last year. And there's some pretty big boys and some pretty good teams out there.
Because to me, here's the difference. Lubbock-Cooper's district is really good this year in particular. The 5A Division I district has good teams and some good players. When you get into District 2-6A, there's dudes all over the field on both sides of the ball. And I know Mark Roboto, sometimes I feel bad for him because he can come up with a great defensive game plan, but you've got a four-star receiver or a four-star quarterback who's going to kind of blow it up a little bit. How fun is it for you, Chris, to get an offense ready to face those guys just 5 weeks in a row where you know you have to make sure your guys are ready for everything that they're going to get?
You know, the interesting part is, you know, now all of those district schools, let's say with the exception of Central, have had, you know, the same coaching staffs for quite some time. And so you kind of get, I don't want to say you get used to, but you know what they do. For us, you know, preparing for them defensively, you know, you get to where we know what they like to do defensively. You know, you go back and rewatch games from last year and 2 years ago. A lot of things show up consistent. You know, to me, coaching, you know, besides these guys, the next funnest part is game planning.
Yep.
and seeing that game plan come to life on Friday night. So, you know, you kind of get to know the personality of the coach, if you will, and it's same for them as well. So,
grab that mic, Mark, because to me, it may be fun defensively to get ready for your district games, but remind me, you guys go Midland, Legacy, Permian to start?
Yes.
Or no, Midland High.
Midland High.
So
yes.
You guys go to these different kind of offenses that you're going to see, so you have to kind of keep your head moving left and right. How challenging is it as a defensive guy to get ready for those teams?
It's really, we get this next week as a bye week, so that really helps with the Midland High game and getting us ready for the option. But other than that, it's really just taking pieces from other games and matching them all together for these upcoming games, and making sure we have everything fit to who their guys are and what our game plan is with them.
I remember Maverick Allen, graduated senior defensive back, telling me last year that when you get into games against those teams, especially a little bit different against Midland High and Permian, you have to kind of be assignment more. But against those other teams, Midland Legacy and Odessa High, even with what they do in San Angelo with the athletes, you're going to get beat. You're going to give up yards. You're going to give up touchdowns. You have to have that very short-term memory, because if you give up points, then Quaid and the offense get to go out there and they get to put up points pretty quick. That's why I never have calculated, but I would imagine District 2-6A has got to be one of the highest scoring districts in the state, just because there's a lot of players and put up a lot of points. So defense is kind of, maybe people look at you and say, what are you doing? But you're still playing good defense. Fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. They have almost every team in our district has at least one or three guys going to college or to the next level, whether it's D1 or D2. And we don't get all like the press and whatnot. We just got to keep to ourselves and make sure that we have our mind set on the next game.
What's weird is Friendship is like, if not the smallest, they're pretty close to the smallest. So
enrollment-wise, yes.
Yep. Well, that wraps us up in the Tiger Fan Zone. We'll be back after the break talking Lubbock-Cooper Pirate football. We'll keep these guys separate in between breaks. I think they should get along, though. This is Randy Rosetta, and this is 100.7 The Score.